just because we're super excited that you guys are all going to be part of this and are making the commitment to add so much value.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Thank you, Todd, and everything you do. And yeah, this conference is going to be awesome.
Oh, I can't wait.
All right, guys. We're 6 minutes in. Rene, are you okay if we get it started? Let me give the link to Denise real quick. She didn't get the memo. I just forwarded it to her. She'll be here any second.
I don't hear Rene.
Renee?
Sorry. Now you can hear me. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yep.
Do you care if I stream this into the private Amplify group?
Not a problem at all.
Okay.
And I want a recording of it that we can put into the Mortgage Coach YouTube channel. Okay.
Already recording now?
All right. Let's give Denise 30 seconds.
She's here. There she is.
All right. So we are recording, Renee?
We are. We're good to go.
All right. So first of all, the keynote speakers for the Modern Mortgage Summit, thank you for making time for this. It'll be the challenge of myself and Renee to make this super valuable for you. For anybody that's listening to the recording, the goal of this is to help you deliver a better TED Talk. So this is preparation for the Modern Mortgage Summit on 10/20/2020. My goal with that summit is to truly do an event that if someone consumes the content with attention and an open mind, they could transform themselves into a modern loan officer. And to me, a modern loan officer is someone that's a leader. They're a leader to the families they serve. They're a leader to the industry. They're a leader to themselves, and they use technology. And I think the four most important pieces of technology that I hope that any loan officer that comes to the Modern Mortgage Summit, they're gonna be clear that they need to use their CRM, not daily but hourly. They're gonna be clear that they need to use video. Kelly Zitlow is gonna be doing a TED Talk on video is no longer an option, and so I want them to change the way they think. They need to use their point of sale link. Like, believe it or not, there are still loan officers that don't deliver a modern mortgage app process. And there are still loan officers that don't use Mortgage Coach. Like, we take an app with a link, but we don't give advice with a link. And so my ambition is that this will be a transformational event. So there'll be 6 keynote speakers, which this session is for, to help you crush it and create an amazing 18-minute keynote that changes the way people think and impacts people's beliefs. And then there'll be countless, like literally over 30 how-to presentations that will range from 3 minutes. We want them to be no longer than 5 minutes, but we might make some exceptions and let them go up to 7 minutes. And I literally want those to be the best how-to videos, not only that the mortgage industry has seen, but anybody has seen. Like, I think the talent of who's invited to be the leaders is going to be some amazing content. Now, when Renee asked the question, why are you here? Well, I really want to crush it for David Todd. I don't want people to crush it for David Todd. I want you to crush it because you want to make change in the industry, and I want you to crush it for you. So that's the other thing, is I think that this is an opportunity for you to elevate the quality of content you create to scale your team. Like, what if the things that you know other loan officers in your branch or other loan officers on your team or different people on your team, what if you got better at creating how-to videos that were simple and straightforward and easy to consume? Would that help you grow your own team? And if you got better at creating like 18-minute or less belief-changing, thought-changing content, would that help you be a better marketer? So really, Rene is going to walk us through his process, but I want this to be for you, to be better at what you do. And then, of course, there will be over 10,000 people. We've already sold over 5,000 tickets, and we're only 2 days into the launch. So this will also be an incredibly well-attended event. And you guys are all competitive. You know, who wants to deliver the best TED Talk? Who wants to be one of the 3 most impactful how-to videos? So I really want it for those purposes. I hope that's your driver. So with that said, Rene, that's my frame. I will hand it off to you, brother.
I love it. Awesome. First, can we give Dave a big round of applause for that amazing setup he's got going on there? I mean, look at this.
Yeah.
Right, look at how clean that looks. Look at the quality, the audio, everything sounds good. Dave, I'm just hats off to you for, brother, continuing to bring up and step up your game. It looks great. I love the branding, and it just fits you, dude. So it's you're deserving of anybody, all of us here. If anybody deserves a quality video on them, it's you, my friend. So it looks great. Awesome.
Well, before I just take that, one, it wouldn't have happened without your leadership and inspiration, and then referring me to Ryan Graham's to actually say, Dave, this is the technology you need to buy, helping me set it up, hiring him as a consultant is why I have this. It's you and Ryan. So thank you, brother.
Awesome. So first of all, this is a fun topic, and I'm just looking at some amazing faces here, and I get so happy when I see all of you guys. I miss you guys. We got to get there. And Todd, we are going to have a lot of fun when we get you in Atlanta. You're gonna feel a new sense of camaraderie and language and conversation that we have with what we're going to talk about here today. A TED Talk is by far the hardest talk I've ever given, and the reason is it comes down to one thing, that you have less than 18 minutes to talk about one idea, just one. And I thought that was going to be easy. And then I got to realize that what I thought was one idea was really 10 ideas. And the process in the months of just going and chopping, sifting, getting clearer on what that one idea is, and having the discipline to go on that idea. Once you get that and once you understand it, there's a freedom that comes with it. There's a sense of freedom of saying, I'm just going to talk about this. And when you can identify what that one thing is, that one idea, the sense of clarity that comes with it as well, to be able to go deep. Too often, people are not going deep enough with ideas. They want to cover a bunch of things, and they stay surface with that. But it's that one idea, if we can go deep with it, it's there. What does that say? Don't fear the person that's practiced 10,000 kicks. Fear the person that's practiced one kick 10,000 times. And so it's almost that sense of being able to say, we're going to take one idea. And so what I wanted to cover here today, all of you here are great speakers. We're going to cover first what Ryan Graham's calls CALL, C-A-L-L, which is your camera, audio, lighting, and location. That is critical. You don't have to spend $20,000 like I've got in a studio in here to be able to do this, where I've got an $1,800 microphone that follows me around here. I've got a $4,000 camera there, and I've got 7 lights going in and out, and a backdrop that's, looks like it's fake, but it's actually real. You don't need that. I'm doing that because I'm setting my ethos and my position as an expert in this world, so I had to sort of stay ahead of the game. And I even called Ryan yesterday, and I said, I'm bored with this background. I want to go to the next level. And he goes, finally. I'm like, okay, what's next? And he said, we're hiring an art designer, like a set designer. I'm like, awesome. What does that mean? He goes, somebody that understands that. So we're going to relook at my brand. We're going to look at what an actual set is, and probably going to move to a different part of my house. And we're going to set up an actual set. That I'm so excited, but that's part of the innovative process of staying ahead in this game. And I think that, what Dave is doing and what we're providing for you here, if you just implement a couple of these things that we're going to talk about, you're going to be already a year to 2 years ahead of most people. You have to remember.
Rene,
yeah,
I want to insert something. So both Kelly and Denise are going to be live in Atlanta. So they're going to be in our studio.
Awesome.
And for Shayla, for Jeremy, for Ryan, I know Dan has a studio. We want you to record this with the highest quality camera, the highest quality lighting, the highest quality mic, and you could talk to us offline. We're even willing to give you a budget if you have to hire a studio or a camera person. But I did want to just give some of that. For those of you that are just listening to this, like you're in the Mortgage Coach YouTube channel or you're in the Amplify private group, that advice that Rene just gave you, I think is super important. I also want to call out, like what I did between hiring Ryan Graham's, buying equipment was, a little over a $3,000 investment. There's a lot of ways that you could do it, but I just wanted to make sure I gave a little bit of direction to Jeremy and Shayla and the people that aren't on today's keynote prep. So back to you, Rene.
Awesome. And I think that's great that you said that, Dave, because it does matter, especially if you're doing an event and you just show up and you just say, okay, I'm going to start, and you turn your laptop on and you throw some headphones on. It's going to look awkward in comparison to the other thing, especially Dave, with what you've set up in Atlanta, the quality studio there, it's world class. I mean, that's the same kind of place that they film like The Mandalorian, and it is something that is next level. And the cool part about it is, I want you to think about this. It's not hard to stand out in this world, because prior to the pandemic, people were scared to death of going and being online and being on video. And then the pandemic comes around and says, oh, by the way, you're all going to be on video. And here's this thing called Zoom. And all you do is click a button and you already got a camera and just go. I never thought about anything else. And so we all got comfortable, and everybody let go of all of the basic things that mattered so much. All of the things like lighting and how we stand and our posture and eye contact. I tell people lighting is so critical so you can see my eyes. Eyes are what create trust. Our influence zone, if you remember when we learned the first time, was down here. So if I'm talking here, and now it doesn't matter. So guess what? The influence zone has changed to something that's up here. And so I have to learn to be able to talk this way. But if I was back here, I wouldn't talk this way. It looks weird. I would talk here. So you have to have physical things that are different. And so being very conscious of what's going on. So one of the first things I tell people, and we're going to do this in a different view here, we're just going to fix some things that I only want to spend 5 to 10 minutes on this stuff, but it has to be addressed. Okay. Put your hands on top.
Rene, real quick, for all of you that are doing the how-to videos for Mortgage Coach, and you're creating this on your own, some of you are going to be doing it in Zoom, some of you are going to be doing it in different formats, pay very close attention to this. What Rene is going through is super important. If we can just elevate the quality of these how-to videos just a little bit, it'll make a big difference in making them the best how-to videos you've ever seen. Keep going, bro.
Awesome. And so we're to Dave's point, we're just going to fix these basic things until you get it. So put your hand on top of your head, if you would, please. And then raise your hand until you hit the top of the screen. And anything that's there is dead space, and we don't like dead space in the video, right? So right now, Kelly, you've got a ton of dead space. Todd and Denise got a ton of dead space there, right? And so what needs to happen is you got to come. There's 2 mistakes people make: is they tilt their camera down. Now we see the floor, right? Or they're too far, and then we see the ceiling. And if you want to make me feel like you're talking down to me, tilt the camera down, right? So Kelly, can you reach out with 2 hands and pull your computer closer to you?
Yeah, I can. Maybe.
So look at the difference with Denise already. Denise, can you turn your phone sideways? Watch what happens. Look at that. Okay. So now she's taking up the entire screen. It doesn't look now, because here's the thing people don't realize: iPhones and Androids have great cameras on them. Yeah. We just have to have the tripod that makes it look that way. And so just look at the difference with Denise already. She's already there. And so Kelly, if you can pull that camera as close as you can, and Todd, because I can almost see like the top of the cabinet. So it means that you're sitting your camera probably up on top of your computer. Is that right? You're on mute, Todd.
So guys, if you're watching this little tripod's $24. And while I am not saying I want all the how-to videos with an iPhone and this, I want the highest quality content you can get, but a tripod like this, and you can maneuver it. You can raise it up, you can raise it down, you can bring it in. Just a simple tripod will allow you to put your phone and have it in the place with it Rene is referring to. And earbuds, Apple AirPods. A combination, like I think the cheapest, easiest thing is your phone. And then of course there's a lot of other ways you can upgrade. Now for the keynotes, Rene, assume they're going to be done in studios, and we're going to have a camera crew. So this will not be what we're going over right now. Is more for the how-to videos than the keynotes. For
sure. Awesome. And so now let's take a look how we're all looking. And so Kelly, we're almost get you there. We'll fix that up because you still have that space up top there.
I just need to be taller. I'm gonna sit on my feet.
But all your cameras. So this is something you'll fix as we go forward. So I don't want to spend too much time on Dan. So you've got yours. I can still see the floor, right? So you don't have to fix it now, but you want to get this like feeling like we're eye to eye, right? We're eye to eye. And so if you notice, even when I'm on my Zoom call, it's really eye level. I used to have this thing that was really zooming down on me, but anything that feels eye, like there you go, Todd. You see the difference there? Now you're a little bit low. If you raise it up, okay, cool. You're getting there. Stop right there.
I got the power desk. The power desk is good.
Look at the difference with Todd right there already. Look at that. That's awesome. I'd come up just a little bit higher. A little bit higher, and then tilt your camera down a little bit, and you're right there. Look at that. Beautiful. So now all of this stuff is just critical, right, when we're getting on there. So now I'm going to give you a little tip. Go through this process with your realtors and your loan officers. Be the one to teach them. This is not rocket science. Go back and watch them. Remember, if I can see the ceiling, your camera's too low. If I can see the floor, your camera's too high, right? Have them put their hand on their head. And you know why I do that? Why do you think I do that? Because I'm getting my entire audience to actually move and be kinesthetic. Instead of me saying, do you look at the difference there? I go, everybody do this, and I can get a whole audience of people doing something like this. And now all of a sudden, everybody's moving, and I get you moving cameras. That's part of adult learning and accelerated education and accelerated learning. Anytime I get my audience member to do something, grab a sheet of paper, draw this, right? Move up here. That's why Amplify Live was so powerful, because you were getting up on stage, but now virtually, I've got to figure out a way to be able to do that. And the same with you guys. If you can say, if you've got a client there and you got the mortgage coach thing, you're there, you can have this guy say, draw a big circle, and I want you to put in the middle of this whole thing. Now all of a sudden they're grabbing pens and papers and they're starting to do stuff. So now going back to what we're trying to do here, which is create that TED Talk. Remember, you've got 18 minutes to have one idea. So what I want to do is I want to make this time very useful. So I'm going to go through, we're going to put everybody on stage, and we're going to ask you, what is your one idea? And I want you to kind of just talk about it, and we're going to see if it's one idea or 10 ideas. So we're going to go, Dan, why don't you start us off? And by the way, great fix, by the way. Even if you want to get really picky, get that thing to line up with the baseballs. Like just tilt you would have to tilt the camera that way just a little bit. You know what I mean?
You're on mute.
Look at that. Oh, look at that. So that doesn't have to be now, but point is like right there. See that? See how nice that is? Yep. This is the perfectionist in there, but for some reason, sometimes the eye sees those things and it just starts to bother. We want to eliminate anything that doesn't matter. Don't have to do it now. but those are things that you do. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Doesn't that just feel a little bit better? Just a little bit? All right. So Dan, what is your one idea?
I made the video. I sent it to Todd and Dave the other day, and basically, I was just looking back over my career in 2008. Didn't know anything, and I heard Gary Vaynerchuk online, and he talked about education, teach. Like he turned his dad's business from a $60,000 wine business to a $4 million wine business by teaching people about wine. So my keynote was two things. So it's not one. It was one word and one action that helped me become a top producer in an industry that I never thought I'd be great at.
So there's the what you're talking about, but then there's the idea. What's the one idea behind all that? Because that's where we sometimes get confused with the content and the idea.
The one idea is content. Yeah, content, creating content, being a teacher, an educator.
Okay. So then your idea is being an educator, being a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And so walk us through in a minute the overview.
Two part. One, so I'm speaking to veteran loan officers and new loan officers. We're in 2020. Content is king. So being able to create content is big. But if you rewind back to 2008, I didn't know anything about the mortgage industry. I was a professional strength coach, a baseball coach, a jock. And in my mind, I was a dumb jock. So I had to learn money. I had to dress up. And how I learned that was created a blog. I started a blog in 2009 called My Mortgage. I started writing.
I'm going to have you add one thing. We give you one thing. So right now, I want you to just be ready to just incorporate your hands a little bit as you're talking.
Okay. So I watched the debates the other night, and I was like, I'm done using my hands because both those guys were freaking annoying with their hands. So that's why
the overuse of anything is horrible.
Yeah. Okay.
Keep going.
So I started creating content, and the rest is history. I have a mortgage blog now that daily people reach out to me from YouTube, my blog.
I caught that.
Keep going.
Yeah. So content being that relevant that even today, 12 years later, I've built something now that I can go on a vacation. And if I didn't make phone calls to my realtors, if I didn't prospect new borrowers, my blog, my website, the content that I've created exists, it's out there, and it's a prospecting machine for me. So content being that important. Now, where I'm at as a professional today, it just elevates my brand. It elevates who I am. Real estate agents are attracted to me because of my content. I'm established as a professional.
Awesome. Hey, now, have you finished your video already and sent it to Dave?
Yeah, I sent it to Dave and Todd on Monday, I think.
Okay, so that's all done.
No, not your TED Talk.
No, just the intro, just kind of like a teaser.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
So time out. I do want to say for all keynote speakers, whether you're on this live or not, we would love a 1-minute video from you that is why you're excited about the Modern Mortgage Summit and what your role is. So for those of you that are watching the recording, if you could get that to us as soon as possible. And Denise, Kelly, and Dan, you already did it. If you guys could get a 1-minute video, that's what he was referring to. But
so hey, Dave,
back
real
at
quick,
you, Rene.
have you had your OBS on all day?
Yeah.
So what you got to do is restart it because you got what's called OBS lag. So just start it and start back over, and it won't change anything. Just close it and start it back up. I
don't know how to do that.
So click on OBS on the bottom, hold and then hit quit, and then wait till it quits, and then start it over again.
He put me on a different platform, but you want me to log out and then come back?
You don't have OBS at the bottom.
No, he had to use a different platform with my computer.
Okay,
he had to use
we'll leave it alone.
a different camera.
I can ask him later.
Okay.
Yeah, no big deal. So Dan, what I want to challenge you, I said, so I'm gonna give my right there. What I want to challenge you on is how do we not sound like every other presentation that goes back to even it's the fundamentals of calling realtors and all that kind of stuff, where you can almost identify it saying, guys, these are fundamentals. You got to do something to stand out with realtors, but I'm going to show you one way of 1,000 that I have chosen to stand out with realtors, to be able to recruit and to work with my buyers. And that's through content creation. And I want to talk to you about the different versions and the results that content creation has created for me. I just don't want to get it confused with here's another presentation on call realtors and right. You know what I'm saying? Which is all I talk about too. But I think in the TED Talk format, I want to just get even cleaner on that, like a needle point. Yeah. Right. It's not broad. It's just even when you think you're there, get even cleaner, get even cleaner. So it pierces us without any pain. Does that make sense?
I love it. Yeah. I love that.
Awesome. So just everything, acknowledge the fundamentals, because everything we're doing, it's a means by which to achieve those things. I want to talk about the means by which right now. And this is one means by which is content. Okay. And it's just like we walk away like Dan's word, his brand for this event, he's owning content.
It's content. Okay. I love it.
And then you can have 15 examples of that, but it's all related around the same thing.
Content.
And the discipline is when you have the urge to talk about something else, to not. Because then you go deep with us. It's like the love. Love is about staying on that one idea and following it as deep as you can. All right. Kelly, let's go with you. Looking radiant and red today.
So video is my topic.
Video is your topic. So talk to us about video. What about video? Because a lot of people talk about video. What specifically about video?
Video is a game changer and can be a game changer in this business today and really in any business. And we all know this. We know that digital media and platforms have taken over the world. We know that people actually vet us before they ever even call us. And the best way to connect with somebody outside of face-to-face or in person is through video. So I'm going to walk through and educate this audience on how I've incorporated video into the process, into prospecting and growing my business.
Okay. So can I challenge you real quick?
Yeah.
So if we were to choose one idea within video, because video has 8 million ideas in it, which idea within video are you doing? For example, what I heard out of all that was you're leveraging video to create the best first impression before people even meet you.
Mm-hmm.
To create your ethos before you even get on the phone. So when you're on the phone, they're going, I can't wait to meet the superstar.
Yes.
So that's almost how to use video to maximize initial meetings, something like that. First meetings, how to speed the sales cycle, how to increase conversion ratio.
Okay.
Because what I'm hearing is you got all this video knowing that people are going to be vetting you out. And if I can get out ahead of that process, you're going to vet me. I'm going to give you all the best of me, vet away.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get on the phone with me, they already know who you are.
Yep.
Like I've had to go through 3 rounds already of deleting old videos where I'm going, I forgot that they're vetting me with this old video. I got to get rid of that one. Oh, damn, I got to get rid of that one. How many times have I know myself, I went through Facebook and I go, wow, do I really have one of those pictures with like 5 girls sitting there? Like, hey. Like that's just not what it's like, yeah, I got to get rid of that. So what I'm hearing is that what you guys are hearing too, by the way?
Well, so I want to just brainstorm on the content a little bit. The actual name of the session is Video is No Longer an Option. And Josh is going to do a how-to video about text video. There's a mortgage coach video. There's bomb or videos. So I think there'll be a lot of how-tos, how to do videos in different tactical formats. I would push Kelly, you to one, make a case that it's no longer optional. And then I think the biggest objection people have, there'll be a lot of people that have never done videos and they don't like the way they look, they don't like the way they sound, or they're just not ready to get in the game. So Kelly, I want you to do this, whatever you're passionate about, but that concept that it's no longer an option, and that's just obvious. And then get people, because I think the how-to videos, which Kelly, you could do more than a keynote. Like you could do making a case for video, just get started, and then you could do some how-to videos that help you how to do video on YouTube. So you're making first impressions and you're an educator. How to do video with mortgage coach. You can do, I don't want to put too much on you, but as many how-to videos you want, you can do those. So I wanted to share those brainstorming thoughts for you.
Okay.
Love it. Wait. That's still blurry. I gotta fix this part. There we go. Okay. So within that, I think that's awesome. And I think that, Kelly, there's really something really unique about saying video for this purpose. And which is how to, it's almost, we got to come up with the right language there, but I'm hearing something really along the lines of how to maximize first impressions through video, right? And then that's, it's no longer an option. People are going to vet you that way. And so if they're going to vet you that way, let's give them something really good.
Yeah.
And one more point. It's not only that, the video is just a massive time saver. I mean, it makes everything more efficient and more effective.
So that's the second idea now. Now we're getting into 2 ideas. See what I mean?
Really?
Because we want because if she goes into, I'm just saying, you don't have to do this, Kelly. If it is, let's say for first impressions, think of how many 5, 10 examples you can give on how to do a first impression on video. But if I go one example, you can use it at first impression, but let me show you how it also saves efficiency and time. And I'm going to start using signatures to do this because that saves statement time. Now I'm really spreading out the message too much. It's hard to just say the TED Talk is one idea deep.
Okay.
Of all of that stuff, what do you want to choose as that one idea?
Well, I really want to go back to what the topic is, which is I want to make a case that video is no longer optional, period. I need to go deep on that.
Hey, Rene, could you put Kelly back on the main screen real quick? And Jeremy's going to join us. He's only got a few minutes. Kelly, by the way, smile. All right. Got to get a little social media post at one point here.
We can just all hide all the guys and just have Denise and Kelly up there, and then we get a lot of clicks.
Well, I think
I'm just gonna say,
that would make us creepers, but yeah.
So
The Blonde Modern
I
Mortgage
jump.
Summit.
I got to jump. I'll catch the rest on video. I just want to say thanks again, everyone. I'm so excited to see what you guys put together and see you, Kelly, Denise in Atlanta, and Renee and Dave. And again, I'm so grateful for everyone's participation and can't wait to watch the video and hear the rest of how Renee's going to make me sound so much better when I'm there on stage.
See you later, Todd. Hey, guys, everybody watching the video on this also, especially for you how-toers, the people that are creating self-source how-to videos, remember where the camera is. Sometimes you're seeing like Todd, he was talking to the camera, or I'm exaggerating, but remember and check in with the camera. Know where the camera is and be intentional about that. Yep, Dan Keller knows where the camera is. So, and guys, here's a way to test. Give a little fist bump. Does everybody know where the camera is? Boom.
he just wanted us to fist bump. So Kelly, again, within that, making the case that it's no longer an option is still really broad. You can still have no longer an option as a recurring theme, but it's not an idea yet.
Okay.
I think I'm still going to push it because I heard that people are vetting you because that's still part of it's no longer an option. Why is it no longer an option? Because you're going to get vetted that way before anyone. So let's work on one thing. What are the videos that they're going to see first?
Okay.
What are your first videos? Like I do that too. This is why I have everybody watch. The stage can be a scary place. That's one of my first vetting videos. And I'm going through my whole website and taking down anything that isn't like of the highest quality. All right. Think about it. We'll come back to you. Denise, how are you?
I'm stressing out right now. This is first of all, I just need you to move to Dallas and just like sit next to me for the rest of my life because I swear you make us sound so much better. But I'm stressing.
You guys
out.
are easy. You guys make it very easy.
Well, my topic was going to be story selling on social media, which I think Dave had it written as branding and social media marketing. I don't like to say social media marketing because I'm not talking about paying for things on social media and Facebook ads, and I'm talking more of how to story sell what we do through social media.
I love story selling. That's on social media. That's a very clear, it's not storytelling. It's not using social media. It's story selling on social media, which is a very unique skill set and a very unique approach. I like that. Does that clash with anything you're doing, Dave?
No, not at all. And it's big idea. Big idea. Love it.
And need.
I think initially it said branding. I mean, that is how I've developed my own personal brand, which I know a lot of people know me for. And so I didn't know, Dave, if we wanted to throw in the brand component in it. But the only reason why, especially within our organization, it's like you start seeing things like the firefighter mortgage officer. And it's like people think you have to have some cheesy tagline. And it's like the brand could just be Dan Keller because you've established yourself on social media as Dan Keller.
Oh, I think we lost your audio, Denise. You back? I think you're back.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had a call come through. For the record, I'm not in my normal setup. But so Dave, I don't know if you want to use branding in there.
I think branding it's inevitable for you in branding to not come through who you are.
Okay.
That's going to be, you can talk about, I story sell, and that's how my brand is delivered. It's delivered through that process. And so you don't have to go off on branding. Branding is an offshoot of the concept of story selling. I would just stick to one idea the entire time. And I'm telling you, it's the hardest thing to do because you're going to want to say, well, it also affects branding. Well, it also affects this. And I did this, and I remember I did this, and I remember it's like one idea, less than 18 minutes. And if you do that, it has such an incredible effect on people, and people remember it.
Okay.
Like we already know. Let's go back. What does Dan own? Dan owns one thing. What is it? Content. Kelly, using video for first impressions, right? You, story selling. Like that's really, 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 really simple. Putting all that together, it's going to be really awesome. Oop.
Does that mean you're moving to Dallas or just?
Hey, I will come to Dallas anytime. Anytime. I gotta meet the infamous evil twin though. I did not believe that. I thought you were joking.
She's the crazy twin. No, her last name is Bird, so we say she's the bird and I'm the nerd, but she's definitely the crazy twin, which is why she's not the nerd.
Let's all say hi to our brother Jeremy. What's up, man? How are you?
I'm great. How are you guys?
So calm. Good to see you.
Smile, Jeremy. Smile. It's the calm before the storm.
I'm always calm when I'm the most in the storm. How you guys doing?
So you guys want to, let's do a quick recap. One thing you got out of today. Dan, start with you. So we'll bring Jeremy up to speed in like 2 minutes.
My talk's going to be on content and what I've done over 12 years to create content and how that's a big part of my lead generation and my branding and all of that, but content.
But what in terms of what did you get out of what we've talked about so far? So bring the
focusing on going deep. One thing, going deep.
Dave.
One thing, going deep, and what an impact it is on placement with the camera and mic.
Kelly.
I have too much headspace.
Well, and what a difference it was. Like when he zoomed you in, you guys both, like the personal connection. And remember, if you're doing these TED Talks, the goal of the TED Talk is change beliefs, change the way people think. Yeah. So that connection matters. For those of you that are watching it, these are how-to videos. You just don't want to be too far. Like you want to be easy to understand and make it really simple. So that just really matters.
Yeah.
And Denise.
Lighting, so people can see your eyes.
How's that shoulder for holding that phone up?
It's okay. It's on my desk.
Okay, nice. So
guys,
Jeremy,
get a tripod. Don't hold it. Don't hold these cameras. Get a tripod.
I have tripods. They're just not in my office right now, and I'm plugged into a cord, or I'll lose y'all.
So before I say this next thing, I always have to give this caveat. Anytime I'm giving any one of you advice, all of you make more in a month than I probably would make in 2 years. So knowing that I have massive amount of respect for all of you in this arena, and you could take none of my advice and you guys would be ridiculously successful. So, but setting that part aside for a minute, if we're looking at just creating the virtual experience, the hard part right now, like we were talking about, is lighting right now. So the lighting you have right now, Jeremy, makes your eyes look super dark. And I don't know if it really matters or anything. Sometimes it's a competing window in the back that does that. And yeah, and so perfect. What I tell people that wear glasses is if you can invest 10 seconds of not having glasses on, and to start off with that, and then go afterwards, be like, once you've done it, because you create that first impression with people, and then be like, after 10 seconds, you know what? Hold on, let me put my glasses on and put them on, and then creating that 10-second rule is what I give people. And sometimes, like Dave, I think you've changed your glasses out because they used to be super reflective. Or are those the same ones?
Yeah. How is this? Is this better with no glasses? And then after I personally connected with you?
Yeah, I think it's also a change. And I think anything in a virtual environment that you can do to change things, anything to change the stimulus, anything to move around. That's why hands are everything in virtual. That's just everything. So right now, if there's no hands, I'm just right here. And so if you're on video, you've got to find that influence zone where before it was down here, but I can move down here, and in a virtual environment, you don't see that moving. So I've got to move my hands up. So there's a big change that happens, and too much is too much. If you're on your desk, I tell people to rest it right here so that you can come up right in here. And so you're moving and thinking, and sometimes I sometimes will do this. You'll find that thing that works for whatever the hand movement is there. And obviously minimizing the space you got up here is there just because you want everybody to look uniform. And so if we look, here with Kelly and Jeremy have you're just a little bit too much space, but
I got too much space.
What's that?
Beep.
Beautiful.
There we go.
And can you get closer?
That headset is the real deal.
Gamer. He's a gamer.
I feel like you're like bringing an airplane in.
Did you guys know that? Did you guys know that Jeremy is a part-time Fortnite professional? Did y'all
You
know
play
that?
Fortnite?
How do
not
you
there.
even have time for that?
He's a professional.
No,
He doesn't
it's
tell
not
a
true.
lot of people that he actually makes money playing
It's not
Fortnite.
true. Dave's lying.
It would be cool. It
Is-
would be cool though. It would be cool.
I do play video games. I played till like 11:30 last night. So is this better, or tell me?
Well, so what if again, what I would do if I'm in your shoes right now, if you notice, like lighting is what they call 3-point lighting. So you have what's called a key light that comes in, and then you have an edge light. See when I put it here, it's right there, and that it creates a contrast on the face. And then I have an edge light. This is Phil, excuse me. The edge is behind me, which makes it look like I'm 3-dimensional. So if I move forward, you see how 3-dimensional that I look right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also a really nice camera. And so right now you have competing light behind you, which makes which side of your face is your left side? That one. So you notice how dark that side of the face is?
Yes, it's like burnt.
Yeah, so that what if you would need what's called a fill light, which is super light, super soft, that just brightens that part up. Then if you had that, the light behind you fills the back of your head and makes you 3-dimensional. But if you don't have just a light fill coming right up there, it would just brighten your face up, and then we can see facial expressions. I tell people, why is lighting important? Well, if I were just to remove my eyes and say, hey guys, you can trust me. Yep, no, this is going to be great. We're going to be good. And all of a sudden now what's there is because we all know there's a primal instinct of saying, well, I can't trust them. They wouldn't look me in the eye. And so even if it's, and you, Jeremy, you're a master of creating instant trust through the language and everything that you use. So this is more for anybody else here watching is we miss this piece. It makes it just a little bit harder. But once we brighten up that face just a little bit, we can see the facial expressions. Like I've been practicing, just making sure that if I'm talking, I'm like, yeah, that's really good. My eyebrows are moving. You can see, I'm like, oh yeah. And I can see all of the things that are happening because this is what
So I got to buy a light, right? Okay.
Yeah.
That's I got it. So what kind of light do I buy?
I can find that's a Ryan question, but I would not. Here's a big thing right now. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lights going, but none of them are actually facing me. Dave, if you look at how clean Dave looks, let's look at Dave right now. You see how clean he looks? Dave, do you have your edge light on behind you too?
Yeah. So I hired Ryan Graham, and I have these lights coming from behind.
Yeah.
A couple of them, and then I got a couple lights in front. So I'm playing the Rene Rodriquez WoW game, and I got a few more lights than the average bear.
So now if you look at how you can see his face so clearly, and then I want you to look at Dan. So Dan, I'm going to guess, has lights facing him.
Dan looks like a Botox model.
Are they?
Has very smooth
Okay,
skin.
so you've got a super
Very
bright
smooth.
outdoor light. Got it. And so what would happen, you see that ring light behind you? He's on mute.
Okay.
That ring light that you have in the corner, if you put it off your shoulder, back in the background, like maybe off the ceiling, do you have a white ceiling? So if you have a white ceiling, point it up off the ceiling, it'll bounce off the ceiling and then edge you out. Those are little things like Ryan's going to go through the whole process. He's going to clean it up. You're going to see a very different Dan after that. So, but those would be the little things that I would just change. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
But again, yeah, it's people are still here's the cool part. You got great content and then people don't care.
Okay.
That's
So I got to get some lights, and I got to start my talk with my eyeball right here.
and if you do that, it'll definitely stand out.
I'm gonna do that. Done.
I love it. I think anything to make it stand out is good.
I have I know you guys have been talking for a long time, and I apologize. I was on a coaching call. So I got to do lights. I got to not say and I need to what else? What am I talking about? Good people deserve great advice, right?
So we'll go back to that. So the big thing that we started with was when I did my 2 TED Talks, the hardest thing that I had to do was understand that a TED Talk is about one idea. And I spent 2 months on really diving deep in what an idea meant. And I realized that what I thought was an idea was really 10 different things. And then the confusion between the content and the examples being an idea versus, like, for example, Kelly went, well, I'm going to talk about video. That's not one idea. That's a really broad concept. But now her one idea is video as a first impression. Because you're going to be vetted anyways. It's not negotiable. It's not an option. Why? Because you're going to be vetted at the first impression is video online. So let's nail that intersection, just that one place. And it's like, wow, all of these ideas, I'm not just any video, just that one kind of video, that first impression video. And so then Denise is going to talk about, what was it?
Social media storytelling.
Yeah, not just social media marketing, which she doesn't like to do. It's not about social media branding. It's not about branding. It's about using social media to story sell. Okay, what does that mean? Now it's like, and then she can give 10 examples of story selling because she's going deep on just one idea. Because even she goes, well, it affects my branding too. Don't go there. That's the discipline. Just one idea as deeply as you can. Like, I know this is not going to be your topic. Like, you could go and saying, I'm going to show you how one email changed my life. And it's one phrase. And we're going to go deep into that one email. Why this is structured this way. You could spend 18 minutes on that and people go, I never knew one email had so much, it's just so much technical pieces to it.
Chutzpah.
Right, chutzpah. There you go.
Hey, Rene, I want to jump in because Jeremy might have to leave in 5 minutes. And I want to, for those of you that aren't on the call right now, Josh, Shayla, Ryan, I want to make sure you're clear on something. So we're doing this call to give you some ideas. I can't think of anybody better to teach how to do TED Talks than Rene. And so this is to help you guys create the best possible content. For those of you that are doing how-tos, hopefully you got a takeaway from this. But I want you guys to, I made the case that you're not just doing this for me, you're not doing this just for the event, you're doing it so you can create better content, how-to content to train your team, how-to content to be better sales and marketers. But at the end of the day, I just want you to have fun with this. So whether you use the ideas and tactics that Rene is doing, you know what you want to say. As long as you think what you're going to say on stage is going to help change the way loan officers think in a positive way, it's going to help shape their beliefs and grow their beliefs better. Just have fun, play loose, and create the best content you can. So Rene, I'll let you keep giving us advice, but I don't want to make this hard for you. I want to just make this as good as it can possibly be for you.
Okay.
Back to you, Rene.
Love it. So I think that we got the concept because if you guys, all of you are such good speakers, you have such incredible talent in terms of content, and your ability to tell stories. The next thing I'd focus on, once we've figured out camera, audio, lighting, location, you've got clear on what your one thing is, that one idea, and just keep asking yourself, is this a new idea? How do I keep it on that one idea? Write that one idea in front of you as you're talking about it and just stay clear on it. The next thing is I would focus on what's your opening. What story are you going to tell? How are you going to open this differently? And I would challenge you to be as fucking creative as you can and as different and as off the wall as you can. I challenge myself every time and I still come back to, hey, everyone, good to see you here. I'm so glad that we're here. And, God, I wish I was there in person with you, but, times are this way and now I'm stuck here in Wayzata, Minnesota. So let's get really started. I've done that same intro so many times and I keep slapping myself in the face saying, Rene, do something different. And so one of the things that we're going to be recording within the next couple of weeks, bear with me on this one, is when they come to me, like one of the things that I do differently now is this. So I'll start off screen and this will be what's on screen. That's all they see. And then when they say, and let's go to Rene Rodriquez.
Jesus.
You're going to hear me talk about this word influence a lot because at the end of the day, if I present or if I speak and nobody does anything as a result of it, What have I done?
And so it goes through a sizzle reel, and I come back and say, hey, everybody, great to see you here. And all of a sudden, it was a 58-second sizzle reel, but it didn't start with me. It started with that. So that was one way, but I'm still bored with that. And so one of the things that we're going to be creating is I'm going to be recreating me going into my car, spilling coffee on my shirt, going, oh my God, hey guys, what's going on? And like, where you go? So I got this event that I'm going to. This is after they've introduced me. And then I'm walking up and a bird shits on my head. And I'm going, oh, right? And so it's different. Poops on my head. They're videoing the whole thing. And I come out of the thing like this, going, and this is my first introduction. I'm cleaning my head. I'm like, hey, welcome to 2020, guys. How are you? And it's just a different, unique.
I like that.
Very different and unique thing. Anything that's going to garner that attention.
Good.
And so now your challenge is going to be come up with a tie down for that bad boy.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was waiting for that.
I love it. And so anything you can do to be unique, remember, people are sitting at their computer screens staring at this. And if you can do something, that's why I pushed Dave to move to StreamYard, because I'm literally right now, I'm taking people, if someone's like watching, I'll be like, hey, Denise, are we just not that entertaining for you, or what's going on? Or Kelly, right? And so I know I'm just messing with you. But to be able to change the environment and what you guys see is critical. And that's what captures attention. So I want to give you guys a formula, okay? And this formula, if you study it for the next year, you will understand it at a whole nother level. There's a formula for capturing attention, and it's two neurotransmitters. It's dopamine and norepinephrine. Dopamine and norepinephrine equal attention. So let's look at what causes dopamine. Dopamine is created through novelty, right? So if somebody says, here, give me a big Dan. So just the novelty of seeing that. The first time I did it for Dave, he literally fell over his chair and started laughing really hard. So now let's go. Denise, tell us a story about something you're doing. Like, tell us about how you got started in the business. You're on mute.
Hi, I'm Denise. I like to do loans.
Oh my God, that was hilarious.
At first, I thought it was her.
Do you really want me to go?
Yeah.
Okay. I got in the business because I was working for a company that was
horrible introduction and nothing that we learned in the past before. And so now that feeling that you have is called tension, right? This was novelty. Yeah. It was new. It creates dopamine. And then when if I'm going to press that button, because you know it, you might mess this thing up really bad, and you're waiting that tension. Is he going to press the button? Oh, we made it. Okay, good. I created novelty and attention during Amplify Live, not knowing. That's why everyone does their talk and they kind of look at me. Is he going to approve of this whole thing? That creates norepinephrine. And if you get both of those things, you got engagement. And I don't care if it's virtual. I don't care if it's live. And so anything that can create novelty and attention. So right now, Jeremy is creating novelty, right? He comes up, that's novelty. Everyone is going to just crack up. Like when he came out that, I don't know, what were you wearing that one time that you did you had a mask and a big mustache and whatever it was.
Yeah. I wore on a mortgage coach talk and I didn't tell Dave I wore a big porno mustache. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that creates novelty.
Yeah.
So the next thing is, how do you create tension? Where do you create tension? If you can get both of those, because novelty is funny, but then after a while, novelty wears off. Go for it.
Question. So novelty and then the transition to tension, is it in that order?
It's both. It doesn't have to be in order.
Okay. So it doesn't have to be in any particular order.
Sometimes the tension is novel.
Got it.
This alone.
Like, have you ever heard your mom and dad having sex? That's a novelty tension, right?
That's a lot of tension.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to check. And then
look at what comedians do.
So my second question, I'm being serious too. I know that this is fun, but so let's say that if I started my talk literally with my eyeball in the camera, and then I tell us like say, hey guys, I want you all to do something. I'm gonna give you the best advice you've ever had. I want you to take your eyeball and I want you to stick a pencil in it. And then as I come back, I can tell another bad advice story, right? And I can take this off, obviously, not wear this. Is that what you mean by introduction, like making impact, like memorable, like just something out there? Like what do you mean?
As long as your tie down is strong.
Okay.
So how do you make a strong tie down to that? So for example, what did you create by putting that on?
Novelty.
Novelty, but what did you create in us?
Laughter.
And so what could be a tie down for this? I can give you one. Do you want one?
Yes, please.
So you could put this, let's say you did the whole thing. You say, okay, now that I have your attention, I'm going to take this off.
Okay.
Because all I did was create one thing. I wanted your attention. Now, here's the thing. This was different, but this mask didn't add any value. All of you watching this need to really start considering that being different isn't always valuable. I gave this example here before. If I were to take an axe and I'd say, let's be really different with this axe, and I'll make a wooden head and a metal handle. It'd be different, but it would add no value. And so there's a lot of people that look and sound differently, but now my challenge that I have your attention, I want to talk to you about some really valuable things. And if you don't hear what I'm about to say, I guarantee you this might cost you $10,000 in the next week. There's a little tension. Is contrast also, because contrast is sharp. And so the mask, hilarious, take it off in a very different there, because you used the mask to get attention.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that story that says, don't use a story to deliver me a message of value. Don't use my time to tell me a story.
Mm-hmm.
So you're using the mask to capture attention, to open me up and deliver something to me.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So things like that. So just make sure you got that contrast. If it's on the whole time, we'll do what's called habituation. We habituate to it. It's a check engine light. At first, it catches my attention. And if it doesn't move, it doesn't change, it goes away. We don't even see it anymore. Even if it's on, we just don't see it. Our eyes, okay, he's wearing a mask. Versus I use the mask and he goes, now that I got your attention, you go, guys, this is a virtual world. I didn't want to be a talking head, so I'm wearing this. I got your attention. Now I need you to listen, because right now what I'm about to tell you could make you $10,000 in the next week. And if you keep doing that, $1 million over the next 5 years. So now I'm there. You delivered a message. You opened me up, delivered that punch right there. So everybody find one way. Like I still keep thinking Dan should have a baseball bat in his hand and doing his swinging and talking to us.
I actually got one.
But
I don't use my videos.
Hey, fuckers, we're going to learn some shit today. Like something like that.
Dave, you're missing a show, dude.
This is a real sword. It's a French saber sword from 1892. It's killed many people. And I want to share something with you today that's not going to kill your business in the next 6 months. Something like that?
Absolutely, dude. Just don't cut yourself.
All right. I like this. This is good.
He's got a whole closet full of this shit ready to go. He's like, what about this?
How am I even going to compete with that? Like,
easy.
What do I do with that?
Let me teach you. You just get some zigzags and some weed, and you'll teach people how to roll a joint. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
So glad this is being recorded. This is the best.
And I'm really taking notes, so thank you. This is actually helpful for me, very helpful. So tension, yes. Opener, yes. Question for you and Dave. Sorry, I did the thing. Can you hit the button, please? Oh, Jesus. So
I'm going to create a button for Dave.
the talk, I get so nervous about planning. I don't get nervous when I talk. I get nervous about thinking what I'm going to talk about. And so I'm nervous right now. There it is. So one idea about great advice. So am I focusing on, I'm confused about that, honestly. Like, how am I going to unpackage that?
So let's talk about it for a minute. So is your one idea great advice?
Good people deserve great advice.
Good people deserve great advice. So then it's about what it means to be an advisor.
All right.
And then, go ahead, Rene.
What I was going to say is that the best way to understand what it means to be an advisor is to show me all the ways that what an advisor does not do that most of us find ourselves doing. Like when I want to talk about differentiation, the fastest way I can tell if you're a differentiator is saying how many people have discounted their price. If you've discounted your price, you've immediately disqualified yourself as differentiation. Why? Because differentiation is defined not as being different, is by being able to sell a product or service without having to lower its price. So if you lowered your price, you've chosen a different competitive strategy. And now you're competing in that world. So don't get mad when people start talking about interest rate with you because you chose that. But now, once we start talking about true differentiation, something that's different that adds incremental value that is so unique that it doesn't offer another choice but you, now we can say you are different. So I go through the opposite, creating the contrast. So the best way to understand being an advisor is I'm going to give you 10 things that advisors don't ever do. They never do this. And then if I find myself going, shit, I do 9 of those things, I'm going, I need to do this. And then if you wanted to end it, so I'm going to give you what we do instead. Instead of being this way, we do this. Instead of this, we do this. Instead of this, we do this. That would be like huge. What it means to be an advisor. An advisor never discounts. Instead, they increase the value. Something like that. An advisor never quotes rate when asked. Why? Because they know that it changes. An advisor educates their buyer on how interest rates work. An advisor never, you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I think that could be really, really exciting. And a list that could keep growing.
Okay.
This is why I love StreamYard.
Dave, you were going to say something?
Well, I wanted you to realize you don't need to bake the cake right here. The goal was we're doing TED Talk training.
Yeah.
Rene is providing some frameworks, some best practices. The simpler, the better. Framing, message, tie down. You don't have to figure it all out right now. And I'm a resource. I don't know how much availability we'll have after this for Rene to help with the TED Talks, but we want to make these 18-minute TED Talks as impactful. So you guys heard it from Rene. You can email him or text him. We want to make them as impactful as possible. But I know one thing for sure, like do whatever prep you're going to do and then just get in there, have fun, play loose, and create an amazing piece of content.
Where are we?
Using a good camera.
We're not doing this live?
Well, no, you haven't seen it yet. There is a document that gives the best practices. We need it by, I think, the 13th, Monday the 12th or 13th, and you're recording it. And I do want you to, it will help pay for it, or we'll pay for it. If you need to go to a studio or have a film crew come in, I want it on a good camera, a good mic. Kelly and Denise are flying into Atlanta, and they're going to do it live.
Holy
and
shit!
Renee will be there live, but everybody else will be pre-recording it. And if you want to fly in and do it live, we can make room. But I'm assuming you don't want to fly in; you want to record it. So we just want to get the best mic, camera, and lighting on you.
Okay. I have a whole studio in my office that I've never used. Maybe this is a great opportunity to use it for the first time.
You think? And I know
Dan.
And I know Dan will help you.
Thank you, Dan.
So any questions? Go for it.
Rene, when we go back to novelty and tension, your intro. So for example, I'm struggling with this because I don't have the Jeremy personality where I could show up in a cape and that's Jeremy. Jeremy's so unique with that. So I want to better understand novelty and tension.
Pull out your bat.
What's that?
Pull out your bat. Put it on your shoulder. That's novel. Oh, okay. Wow, that's different. You said there's something about the grip of this bat, and it's perfectly weighted, and it's just talk to us that, just grip it and say, but if it's there, and then after a while put it back, and you say, and say, guys, I use this when I'm thinking, because whatever it is and however you want to grab it, that's novelty right there.
Got it. Okay.
And so sometimes I'll tell you, what, one of the most powerful ways to create tension? Silence.
What's that?
Silence.
Okay.
Ask that question and leave it, hold that space right there. And you got to be able to, but you got in camera and film, you got to be able to grab their attention and hold it. So guys, you got to hear me. One of the most important things that you can do to capture attention is utilize pauses.
Okay.
So, but it's all about the buildup, because there's so many other things distracting people. But you notice right now, just in this, Jeremy's holding, what is that?
Huh?
He's holding an alien.
No, it's a doll with my face on it.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
And then, hey, Dan, put your bat back up. There. And so Dave has got, look at the novel Dave has. He's got 2 screens, super clean, right? Like nice leather backdrop to that whole thing.
Big guns.
Huge. And so novelty is that. And so it's there. And so the tension is, sometimes tension is, at the end of this, I'm going to tell you what the secret is or what this one thing is. And so it's an open loop. That's part of tension. There's one thing at the end. I'm not going to tell you now, because you need to understand a few things before I explain this to you. But if you stick with me to the end, this last thing I'm going to share with you is this. Same way that you do the color, your favorite color. If you don't give it away right away, it holds you because you want to wait. If the story's good enough, I want to wait to the end. If the content's good enough, I want to wait to the end. Now, there's also a concept called a hook. The hook is that one piece that goes, wow, it's a Tarantino. Tarantino's great at hooks. He starts with the hook, and then it goes back to the beginning, and you're like, how did we get there? So you want to fill in the gap, because there's all these missing pieces of how to get there. I made $10,000 in 10 minutes using this strategy. So I want to go back to when I first got started in the mortgage industry. Like, wait, what happened? So I'm going to take you there. But to understand how that $10,000 worked, I want to go back to what happened. All of a sudden, I'm hooked. You hooked it right here, and I'm waiting. There's an art form to hook. It takes a while to get it. Watch Gary V in his videos. He'll go up and you'll see it's like, so I told him to fuck off. And it's, you're like, well, who did he say that to? And you want to watch the whole thing. So even watch my videos, my current videos, I'm doing that. And I'm like, like one video goes, let me put this here. It goes, if you do the Monday suck posts, I really don't want to be around you. All right. So we want to talk about our attitude, and then I'll go into the video that sounds like that, right? That was the use of a hook. Now, of course, my camera's blurry. Come on. Does that answer your question, Dan? That's one way of having novel, is using props.
So I've done the whole baseball in my hand or flipping a baseball. My wife is just like, why? Like, it has nothing to do with mortgage. So I've stopped using props.
If you don't tie it down.
Right. So, okay. So then would a novelty simply be the fact that I have a flag that has a bunch of baseballs behind me? Would that?
The first time I see it.
Got it.
I'll give you an example. The biggest challenge I've got is the first time it's novel, then it's just going to be annoying, and then they're not even going to hear it anymore.
Yeah.
So you reserve it to create novelty. A hook is novel. Doing something unexpected is novel. If you're always sitting, stand every once in a while. So do just subtle changes to be able to use your space, because you've got this little box that If it doesn't change, that's why I'm already sick of my background. I told him, I said, I'd like to have 5 different backdrops. If I'm doing a video training, I want this, and I got my whiteboard. If I'm doing something that's just a video, I'd love to have something comfortable. I'm in the living room. I want to have the options to be able to keep these videos really keeping fresh.
Okay.
These are things that apply in real life too. But again, so get your camera, audio, lighting, location down. Figure out that one idea. Stay disciplined to drive safe. And then figure out what your introductory story is. A dog, right? As long as, and your wife's right, as long as it's tied down. Yeah. If there's no tie down to it, then it's just like, and sometimes just a novel. You just say, look, I got my baseball bat because, there's something about the discipline that this reminds me of. And it keeps me centered in understanding that the same is true for video. I have to stay really clear about the fundamentals of video. I got to stay with a good posture. I just turned a baseball bat into fundamentals about video.
Love that. Okay.
It's all about tie down. No tie down, no value.
Now, but I want to make sure we're clear. Like, this is to give you ideas, inspiration. I'm not saying the TED Talk that you're doing, whether you're watching this recording, do whatever you want to do. You don't need to listen to all the ideas that Rene is giving you. These are suggestions. These are considerations. They're ways of getting attention. They're ways of standing out. Remember, it's a virtual event, so have some fun with it. But at the end of the day, be you. Do what you're comfortable doing, and if you're comfortable in doing it, it'll be amazing.
Well, have you guys thought about this? You know how Rene's opening? I mean, that's a legitimate. Hey, I want to welcome Rene Rodriquez to the stage, and instead of Rene just going, "Hey, good to be here," what if we all had what if we all recorded something like that? Would that be now not novel?
Jeremy, are you on mute?
Well, you got basically a week to do your keynote, so I just don't know that it's realistic that we're gonna create a bunch of sizzle reels, or you're gonna create a sizzle reel. So, I want to keep it to where you're all doing something yourself with the bandwidth that you have, with the passion that you have. We're giving you suggestions, but I don't want to take on a project that we're going to do next week and try to
let's
complicate it for you or me.
Let's say I have the ability to film a 7-second, 6-second intro. Yeah,
go for it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Again, the 7 of you that are doing these keynotes, it's your canvas. You got 18 minutes. If you give us something that's 20 minutes, we might edit it down. We might play all 20, but as close to 18 minutes as possible, as high quality as possible, you being passionate about the topics. That's the ask. This call is suggestions. It's fine tuning. There are considerations for you. And if you're a how-to video creator and you're watching this, I hope you get a takeaway. If you're not part of the teachers of the Modern Mortgage Summit on 10/20/2020, this is just a value add from the Mortgage Coach YouTube channel.
Love it.
So,
Rene, anything else? And I want to make sure you at least give everybody the frame, message, tie down formula, because I think it's just such a valuable thing.
Sure, I can definitely cover that. And obviously, if you're watching this and you're part of the summit and you don't understand it, I'll make sure Dave and everybody has my number. Call me. I'll make the time. The goal is to make this event so incredibly engaging and so different than people, not through just only the content, but through the way in which it's delivered, storytelling, everything. Now, have I talked to you guys why stories are so critical? This is the new research that I've been really diving deep into. 30% of our waking hours right now are spent daydreaming. I really want you to hear this, okay? So what does that mean? It's not daydreaming and saying, oh, I wish I was on a beach kind of daydreaming. It's in scenario planning. I wonder if I do this, then that. If I show up late, my wife's going to be upset. Do I really need to shower? But I guess I could probably, if I go to the gym, I'll probably stink later. That's all scenario planning and thinking into the future. There are 2 times that we're not daydreaming. The first one is under life and death situations. Somebody puts a gun to your head. You are not daydreaming anymore. You're fully present in looking at, is there a finger on the trigger? What's going on right at this moment? The second time, and we can't put putting guns to people's head to get their attention, is through storytelling. And the reason that we're paying attention is we stop daydreaming because you begin to daydream for me. And now think about that. Dan tells me a story about his childhood. I stop daydreaming. I'm going and I'm painting a picture that Dan is creating. So Dan is literally in my head creating a narrative. But what's so powerful about that is that I think it's my own narrative. That is, when you really understand that power, it's scary and it's also exciting. That's how you affect children's lives. That's why storytelling around a campfire was so important. That's why storytelling and leadership is so critical with our clients and in an event. And so I want to challenge you guys to be able to come up with those stories that really drive that message really, really clear on what that one thing is, that one thing. And if you can get a story to help frame it all up and then a story to end it, that is a really simple way to fill 18 minutes.
Boom. That was powerful. And I think that these are TED, and we're going to have a lot of how-tos. Remember, all of you that are the keynote creators, you get to create how-tos. So if you feel like, hey, I've got my theme advice, good people deliver great advice, and then you have, but it's complicated, tell the stories in the keynote, do a couple how-to videos, and you can reference those in your keynote. Jeremy, you had a question. Oh no, Jeremy had to go. All right.
No, he's here. I think he's on a phone call.
Oh, okay. I saw him waving.
That's why I removed him. He's on a phone call.
Okay, cool.
But so I think in terms of frame message tie down, do watch the TED talk that I did that Dave sent out to you, because that does walk through the process. But in just really, really briefly, there's a methodology and a sequence to how the brain understands and processes information. It's going to follow that sequence whether you follow it or not. That's just the reality. And the more that you can surrender to that process, the better. And so if you can control the process, even better. So what happens is the first thing the brain needs is a frame. And if you don't provide a frame of reference for what you're talking about, the brain will create one for itself based on its past information. And so if you were to look at the reality of used car salesman, and I didn't frame that up, the listener is going to frame it up in whatever negative experience typically it has on used car salesman or loan officer or buying something or just whatever it is. If there's a negative experience and you talk about it, it's going to trigger that negative experience and it's going to come and cloud the conversation. And so through storytelling, through novels, through examples, through things that we're talking about, we're setting the frame, or we call claiming the frame. The same way if I wanted to tell you about used car salesman, I would tell you about my grandfather who was born in Cuba and lived in Cuba, wanted to get his family out of Cuba. And he wrote a letter to the President of the United States at the time, he was President Hoover, that wanted to, he said, if you can get me and my family out of this country, I'll fight for yours. Somehow it got to the right person. They pulled my grandfather and his family and my mother out of Cuba. And he went and fought for the United States. After he served his time, he landed in Homestead, Florida, the American dream, only to realize that there were no jobs in this part of the country. And so his American dream was really limited to how far he could walk, and there wasn't much income there. But there was somebody that believed in my grandfather and saw what he did for this country and got him into an older vehicle. That older vehicle allowed him to expand his reach to be able to connect with people 40, 50, 60 miles away, increasing his income, changing the trajectory of his life, my mother's life, and ultimately my life. And that person who believed in my grandfather was a used car salesman. So now, all I did was claim the frame. Before talking about used car salesman, I created a frame through a narrative and story, claiming the space of daydreaming. I did it for you to create a picture, to then create a new frame of reference to understand this message. Interest rates. If you just talk about interest rates, there's already a frame out there, which is I need the lowest. That's all. Well, interest rates, what's the lowest? What's your rate? And so they go to that. But when you talk about the interest rate in the context of a much bigger picture, using the mortgage tools, all the things that now all of a sudden interest rate can take on something very different. So all of that stuff is all about framing. To deliver a message, in the last part is tie down. Tie down answers the question of what this means to you is, I tell you this frame, and I tell you the story, and deliver this message, but here's the value to you. So we transition to tie down by saying what this means to you is. Here's a great example. I was on a call earlier, just prior to this, and we were dissecting. I think it was Nicole Ruiz. Ruiz? How do you spell Nicole? She works does great videos. And we did one of her videos. She said, "Did you know that 67% of loans serviced by Fannie Mae are or Ginny May are first-time home buyers. And so who is this Ginny May? And so Ginny May is this whole thing. And I said, Nicole, why did you tell me that stat? She said, well, we're teaching about Ginny May. I said, well, what does that mean to a buyer? To me as a consumer. She's like, shit, nothing. I'm like, well, okay, so what it means something. Well, what does it mean? We sat there. And it's like, wow, so what does it mean to a realtor? I don't know, because we didn't answer what it means to you. And I said, what if you said this? Did you know 67% of the loans serviced by Ginny Mae right now are first-time home buyers? So if you're a real estate agent, what that means is if you're not focusing, at least incorporating first-time home buyers into your marketing plan, into your plan to service, you're missing 67% of the opportunity. So if you call me, my phone is blowing up with the first-time home buyers, and I'm looking for agents that value service and advice in the same way that I do. So if you value those two things, I'd love to hear from you, see if we're a fit. And so we move on. All of a sudden, there's a tension. Oh my God, her phone is blowing up. Tension. I need to be the one in value. So now I got to interview with her. You see how that works? But I used a stat to deliver a specific message to a specific audience that created a strong call to action to my sales process. Once all that stuff is integrated, it makes a lot more sense. Did I cover it enough, Dave?
Yeah, no, I think that was super important. For those of you that are on the call, I think the frame message tie down is a really powerful tool. Should definitely have a call to action to the mortgage professionals that are tuning in to this. What is your call to action? Renee's advice about making the opening as interesting and attention getting and unique as possible, I think is super important. And looking for hooks and keeping it simple. Remember, the keynote is to change beliefs. It's not to necessarily teach specific ideas. If you have more content in you, do a how-to video. Do this, and that how-to video could be as simple as a tripod, an iPhone with earbuds, and you talking into it with how to do something. It could be a how-to where you use Snagit and you do a screen capture, or you use BombBomb, you use COVID, whatever technology you have to create content. How-to videos, we'd love to have as many of them as you want to create if you're a keynote on this. But right now we're talking about TED Talks, and I think you crushed it, Renee. Any last questions from anybody who's on the call right now?
I mean, if a baby screamed in a forest that was all alone and a wolf came to its rescue, do you think the wolf actually has the integrity to not eat the baby and raise it?
It does.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys. This was really cool.
Kelly, what do you think? Do you agree with that? And do you have any questions?
No, I'm good. I just love you, Jeremy.
Love you too, Kelly. How you doing? It's great to see you.
I'm good.
Doing all right?
Yep.
Good.
Have fun.
You guys got a shout out from a good buddy of mine, Tyler Lorenzen. He runs a company called Purus Foods, who actually does the pea protein for Beyond Meat. He also won a Super Bowl with Drew Brees. Awesome dude. He's actually in your group. If you do get a chance to connect with him, look at what he's doing. Just raise an ungodly amount of money with for his company, and they're truly changing the world. So, if you want to talk to somebody who kills the framing game to raise over $140 million, talk to him. He's in our group.
Awesome.
Amazing. Sounds like I need to interview this dude.
You'd love him. He's incredible.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Have a great.
Hey, Renee.
Thank you.
Renee, thank you for doing this. And get me a link to the download, Renee, so I can push this into the Mortgage Coach YouTube channel. Take care, Dan.
Bye,
Bye, Kelly.
See you guys.